Okay, so in this tutorial, we will talk about how to make use of the Planetary Computer and also making use of the Radiant MLHub API with Planetary Computer. So Planetary Computer is a primary computing platform that provides access to trillions of data points that people and machines collect in the Earth, sky, and space. So to get introduced into Planetary Computer, first, let me just search Planetary Computer, request access. You first need to request access to Planetary Computer. So here's the link to request access. It should be in the description too. So you can see the fields that you fill: your email, your name, the affiliated organization, the sector that you work in, programming languages, and some other details. So after you're done with this, you accept the terms of use, then you submit. So let's say I've granted access into Planetary Computer. What you need to do is to go back into the home page, click on the Hub tab. Then it will direct you to the Jupyter Lab with its respective notebooks. But in case you are not logged in, it will first redirect you to the login page. Then you log in. Then after you log in, it will bring you to this home page. So for this tutorial, we're going to make use of using the Radiant MLHub API. You can also see the notebook in the Quick Start folder here. So you can click either one, both works. So the Radiant MLHub API gives access to open earth imagery training data for machine learning applications. If you want to view more about the repository, you can use this site to redirect you to the repository site, and the Radiant Earth Foundation team also has its own separate site for that. So if you want to access the Radiant MLHub API, you first need to acquire an API key. So to use that, it is already self-explanatory. You just need to go to mlhub.earth. If you go to that page, you should see the sign up for API access, or you can sign in case if you already have an account there. Then you can obtain your API key thereafter. So after you obtain your API key, next thing you need to do is to first input the API key into this notebook. So if I run this, since I already have an API key, what I just need to do is to enter that, and it runs straight away. So what you need to do next is to connect the Radiant MLHub API using our API key. To do that, all we just need to use is to use the client module from PyStack clients, the key being the Radiant MLHub API key, and the MLHub root URL, which we defined earlier as the MLHub website. So after that, we can list available data sets there. You just need to create a new session using the request.session within the session MLHub session, and then use the API key as the MLHub API key. So using that, we can list the available data sets in Radiant MLHub API. And the data set is a JSON object that represents a group of stack collections that belong together. So now you can print the available data sets using the session.get data sets. We displayed its ID, the title, and the available data sets here. So we can see 27 data sets with their IDs just before the column here. So this is the ID of Asia crop type. But for this application, what we're going to use of is Kenyan crop type competitions data or data sets, which is this ref African crops Kenya. So you can see using the ID, the Kenyan ID, so you can print the details about that data set. You can see the boundary box, its coordinates, the citation, collections, creator contacts, a list of other things from that particular data set that you can see. Then you can also view the collections on that data set. So in collection, the collection is just a group of resources covering the particular spatial and temporal extents of the data sets. So typically, collections consist of the labels and the source of data sets in Radiant MLHub, typically, but not every time. So if you can view the collections under the Kenyan data sets, we can see the labels and you can see the source collections under it. You can also get the details about that particular collection, about the collections. So you can see the ID, the license, the citation, and a number of other details under that particular collection. So you can see for every, for a particular group of resources or data sets, you can see the Tanzanian source, the licenses, the citations, and other details about that particular collection. So now I want to look into the labels collection. So they have other properties besides the one that we saw above. So you can see that this cell below will print the collection object and everything under that particular collection object. So here we're printing everything under the collections object with a particular ID as ref African crops Kenyan labels. So if you do that, you can see a list of several things which are applicable to that object, to that collection, sorry. So fine, you already have the collections, you printed data sets, you printed the collections, you have the collections. How do you get the collections running into your, maybe on the cloud where you're working with or your local system? So what you now need to do is to download that particular data archive. So in Planetary Computer, what you can just do is you can just create a temporary directory. Here, the make directory temporary, that's the particular, or mkd temp, that's the particular module that will be used here. So what we want to do is to create a temporary directory called tmp dir. Then you have the archive part here. What you just need to do is to join the temporary directory with the particular data archive that I want to download. Here we're downloading the Kenyan data archive. So you can see it here. Then you just use the session to get the labels on that particular data set, which was the Kenyan data set. Then you write it into the directory which you're making use of. Then after making use of that particular directory, all you can just do is to clean up the directory using the remove tree function. So this tutorial has already covered, first we covered the use of Planetary Computer, how to request access to Planetary Computer, logging in and accessing the Jupyter Lab. And we also delved into the Radiant MLHub API notebook to see how we can print the list of data sets. But first we authenticated, then we saw the list of available data sets, we saw the collections, we saw the details under the data sets and the collections. Then after inspecting that, we downloaded the data archive for that particular collection. So the next steps that we can view further is reading data from the Stack API, how to use Radiant MLHub API to browse and download the land coordinates data sets. But for this tutorial, all we just did was introducing you to Planetary Computer. So I hope this was helpful in your use of geospatial data, and we at Radiant Foundation hope to also provide you with very much more training data sets for different machine learning applications.